we're jumping straight into applied optoelectronics today. Everyone is watching the price action, but the real story is the monumental $200 million order for next-generation data center transceivers that's completely changing their revenue trajectory.
Exactly. You're tuned in to the Easy Money Show, where we make sense of the market's biggest moves. I'm glad you're with us.
Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button so you never miss out on these breakdowns. So, setting the stage here, we really have to talk about the recent volatility with this stock because, I mean, it is just wild.
Well, it's giving people whiplash.
Yeah.
Just testing the sanity of anyone watching the chart right now.
Right, because you had this massive surge up 22.4%, hitting this historic high of around $107.55.
And at that point, people thought it was an unstoppable, like a
Yeah.
clean breakout.
Exactly. But then on March 13th, the floor just completely falls out. It plummets 9.1% in a single day.
Which is brutal, a really brutal reversal for retail investors who, bought at the peak. But then, and this is the crazy part, by March 18th, just days later, it violently rallies right back up, like 7 to 9%.
Yeah, jumping right back into that $92 to $107 range,
Right.
which really brings us to the core question of this whole episode. For everyone listening, we have to ask, is this chaotic price action just a trap for retail investors? Or is this the beginning of a massive fundamental re-rating driven by the AI supercycle?
Well, to figure that out, you really have to look past the day-to-day chart and look at the underlying revenue explosion.
Yeah, the actual business mechanics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they have this incredibly unique technological moat protecting that revenue. And when you understand that, the aggressive buying on these dips starts to make, well, a lot of sense.
So let's ground this in the numbers, right? Looking at the fourth quarter of 2025, total revenue hits $134.27 million.
Which is a 34% increase year over year. That's huge.
Huge. But the detail that really matters is that almost $75 million of that came purely from the data center segment.
Yeah, the data center concentration is, it's everything right now. That specific demand is what's completely shifting the gravity around the company.
Yeah.
And, that brings us to the massive catalyst.
Right, that $200 million order.
Exactly. Management secured this massive order for 1.6T data center transceivers from a hyperscale customer.
Yeah.
And that is what targets this crazy leap to over $1 billion in revenue for 2026.
Wow, wait, over $1 billion, because in 2025, they only did, what, $455.7 million?
Right. So they're essentially modeling a scenario where they more than double their entire revenue in 12 months. And margins are projected to hit 35 to 38% by 2027.
That is just staggering.
Yeah.
But let's pause for a second and actually explain the tech. Because we throw around 1.6T transceivers, and, I mean, what does that actually mean in the real world?
Yeah, it's a lot of jargon.
Right. So 1.6T means 1.6 terabits per second. You are moving roughly 1,600 gigabits of data every single second.
It's unfathomable speed.
Yeah, like downloading hundreds of HD movies in a literal blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So why does an AI data center desperately need that kind of speed?
Well, it's the architecture of AI. I mean, regular cloud data centers just send a video to your phone, right? But AI data centers have tens of thousands of GPUs, like those incredibly expensive Nvidia chips, and they all have to talk to each other simultaneously.
Right, to train those massive language models.
Exactly. And if the data can't move fast enough, those $40,000 chips just sit there, idle, waiting.
Which means the hyperscalers are burning millions of dollars in electricity and compute time for absolutely nothing.
Right. The network is the ultimate bottleneck. So these transceivers, they take the electrical signals from the chips, convert them into pulses of light, and shoot them across fiber optic cables.
Okay, so getting a $200 million order for these things, it validates their tech. It restores a major customer to a 10% plus revenue contributor.
It absolutely validates them. But, the real question people have is, why them?
Yeah, exactly. Let's break that down even further. Why does this one company get the order? It's like owning the only engine factory in town when everyone else is just assembling cars, right?
That is the perfect way to put it. It all comes down to a material called indium phosphide. This is their moat.
Because most of the tech world runs on silicon, right?
Silicon is incredibly cheap, and it's amazing for processing math, but it is physically terrible at emitting light.
And we just said AI data networks run on pulses of light over fiber optics, so silicon just hits a wall.
Exactly. You need indium phosphide. It naturally emits light at the exact wavelengths you need to punch through miles of glass without losing the signal. But here's the thing. Making these laser chips is insanely difficult.
It requires like atomic level precision, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's expensive, it's time-consuming. You can't just build an indium phosphide foundry over the weekend.
But Applied Optoelectronics actually manufactures these lasers themselves. They don't just assemble them.
Yes. They are vertically integrated. While their competitors have to buy the laser chips from a third-party supplier, they just bake their own in-house.
So when hyperscalers like Meta or Microsoft are panicking about supply chain bottlenecks,
Applied Optoelectronics doesn't care. They just keep running their own factory. They control the core component.
wow, they are basically the plumbers of the speed of light. And, looking at the broader market, the Nvidia tailwinds here are undeniable. Nvidia's data center revenue hit $62.31 billion, but their networking revenue surged 263%.
Which is exactly why traders treat Applied Optoelectronics as a high beta proxy for this whole AI build-out.
Right. So if Nvidia has great earnings and the AI sector bumps up 2%,
This stock might violently surge 10% because they are the physical plumbing for that exact infrastructure.
but of course, if the sector dips, the stock crashes twice as hard.
Exactly. It's a leveraged slingshot.
Okay, so that's the bull case. But looking at the flip side, if the tech is so crucial and the revenue is doubling, why did the stock tank 9% in a single day last week? Let's give you the lowdown on the risks.
Yeah, we have to talk about the dilution overhang
Hmm.
because scaling up like this has a very dark side.
Right. The cost.
Right. To physically meet this $200 million order, they had to ramp up production from 90,000 units a month at the end of 2025 to an insane 500,000 units a month by the end of 2026.
You can't just tell the factory floor to work faster to get those numbers. You need new clean rooms, massive new equipment.
Which costs hundreds of millions of dollars. So to pay for this, they doubled their at-the-market equity program, their ATM, to $500 million. And they've already sold about $250 million in shares.
And we should clarify how an ATM works for anyone listening, because it's not like a normal secondary offering where a bank buys shares in a private deal.
No, not at all.
With an ATM, the company is literally sitting on the exchange, hitting the sell button on their own stock during regular trading hours. When retail investors get hyped and buy the rally, the company is actively selling new shares to them.
Right, and that creates a massive supply overhang.
When a company constantly sells shares into its own rallies to raise cash, it creates a supply overhang. Does the eventual earnings growth from that new factory capacity outpace the fact that your slice of the pizza just got smaller?
That is the exact psychological ceiling keeping momentum traders totally on edge right now. Because yes, your slice is shrinking today.
So every time the price runs up and I feel like a genius for holding it, the company is probably using that exact momentum to quietly sell more shares and dilute my ownership.
Exactly. Which explains that 9% drop. The market suddenly realized, hey, my ownership is shrinking right now, even if the overall company is going to be way more profitable in 2026.
But it's not just dilution, is it? There's also the customer concentration risk.
Yeah, this is the secondary threat. The whole billion-dollar revenue dream relies heavily on just a few hyperscale customers. 3 customers are expected to make up more than 10% of revenue each.
I mean, these are giants like Meta, Google, Microsoft. They don't typically bounce checks, right?
No, credit risk isn't the issue. The issue is delays. What if one of those giants runs into, say, power grid constraints, or the macroeconomy softens, and they decide to delay their AI data center builds by 6 months?
Oh, wow. So if just one massive customer pushes an order back.
It creates a catastrophic revenue cliff. Optoelectronics would have just diluted their shareholders to build a massive factory, only for the customer to say, hey, keep it in the warehouse for a few quarters.
That is a terrifying scenario. So what specific triggers should you be watching over the next 30 to 90 days to see which narrative is winning?
The biggest one is the Q1 2026 earnings report coming late April or early May. The market is going to strip away all the hype.
They just want to see the execution.
Exactly. They're going to demand updates on the actual fulfillment schedule for that $200 million order. If that factory expansion from 90,000 to 500,000 units is delayed by even a week, the market will punish the stock violently.
Because investors already paid the price of dilution, now they want the product shipped? What else are we watching?
Post-conference momentum.
Yeah.
The Optical Fiber Communications Conference and Nvidia GTC just wrapped up mid-March. The industry chatter from those events really sets the sentiment.
Which naturally brings us to the Nvidia rumor mill. You really can't talk about AI networking without bringing up Nvidia.
No, you can't. And there are these massive market rumors that Nvidia is planning a $4 billion strategic investment into the broader optical sector.
Wait, 4 billion?
Yeah, because they know optical networking is the physical bottleneck for their GPUs.
So is it actually plausible that applied optoelectronics could be a direct target for that?
I mean, any direct investment is completely speculative right now, but the logic is incredibly sound. If Nvidia wants to secure its supply chain, they need a partner that physically controls the indium phosphide lasers. They need the foundry, not just a company that assembles parts.
Right. And even if they don't get a single dollar from Nvidia directly, just the fact that Nvidia is pumping billions into the optical sector is a massive tailwind.
Mhm.
It proves the thesis that light is the foundation of the AI boom.
Absolutely.
So pulling this all together, applied optoelectronics is this incredibly misunderstood growth story right at the epicenter of the AI boom. The short-term pain is obvious. That $500 million ATM program takes a really strong stomach to sit through.
Yeah, watching the company sell into its own rallies is going to be frustrating. It's a bumpy ride.
But the long-term engine is just roaring. That vertical integration, the indium phosphide moat, it gives them massive leverage. If they actually hit that $1 billion revenue target in late 2026, they aren't just a niche supplier anymore.
No, they become a critical pillar of global AI infrastructure. The upside is totally transformative.
So as you digest all of this, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. If control over these specific lasers is truly the ultimate bottleneck for building next-generation AI infrastructure, are we looking at a company that is destined to just be a great supplier or an inevitable acquisition target for a giant that wants to own the entire board?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question.
It really is. Well, that is the lowdown for today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Easy Money Show. Make sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time.